Good afternoon, my friends. How are we? Appreciate you as always. Thank you for being here with me. We've quite a bit to go through over the next hour or so. We'll be talking about Darwin Nunez, looking ahead to the Arsenal game, of course. Talking about a few other bits and pieces, some FFP or profit and sustainability rules, breaches potentially by Chelsea coming up as well. And I'm still not getting any stats. Is there any other YouTubers in the chat who can help me out with this? At the moment, every time I do a live stream, and it's only happened for the past couple of days, I can see everything. I can see the chat, but I can't see the statistics, concurrent viewers, likes, any of that type of stuff. Not giving me the information, which is weird. It's only happened in the last day or two. But look, other than that, it's all good. I hope you're well. Nice to be with you guys again, and we're going to try and keep up these 4 p.m, 8:30 streams, because I like doing them, and hopefully you guys continue joining me for them. So look, on Darwin Nunez, you know, for you that are in nice and early, let's have a quick conversation about this one. Hello to Davino, by the way, to Leo, to Taylor, Darkness, Colin, David, and everybody else that's in the chat. Appreciate you. So, the Darwin injury blow is not too serious, but a little bit concerning. So, this is what James Pearce has said regarding it. Nothing broken, x-ray clear, but it's swollen. Darwin Nunez, a fitness doubt for Liverpool's crunch trip to Arsenal on Sunday. That's where we're at. And I hope he's okay for it. I hope he's able to make it, but it doesn't sound positive at this moment in time. And he seems to have, unfortunately for him, a run of 3, 4, 5 games, and then something happens where there's a bit of swelling and he has to be managed a little bit. It's a game I would have really loved him to be available for. I can't lie to you. You know, Arsenal away, big game, and he'd be a big presence in it. So, as it sits, it's not looking great that he'll be able to play in the game. But look, we have to wait and see what comes by the weekend. You know, it's Friday today. Let's see if the swelling goes down. But, you know, not the best of news. But other than that, I think we're okay. I don't think there's any new injury concerns ahead of the game. But that is a bit of a blow. I can't lie, it is. Big game, and I would have liked him to be available. Hopefully Darwin will be fit enough to be on the bench, said Ben Peake. I hope so, Ben. I hope so, mate, because he is an important presence, and he creates space for others, and he's just, you know, he works hard. I know people will say he doesn't score enough, and that's, you know, a fair conversation, but none of us doubt the man's work rate and how big of a help he is to the team in general. So if he's not there, you would imagine probably Cody Gakpo will slip in on the left-hand side of attack or through the centre. Give me Thiago. Well, I think he might be in the squad. I don't know for sure, but if he's trained all week and he's not had any effect, and Jurgen said he trained very well, you would expect that there's a good chance Thiago could be in the matchday squad, and certainly if he's not in it for this game, you would imagine he'd definitely be in it by the time we play Burnley next weekend. 406 viewers, thank you, David. I don't have that information, so that is very helpful to me, mate. Appreciate it. I want to go through something with you guys really quickly, and I'm sorry I'm only bringing this up now. I probably should have brought it up sooner. But I looked at the player ratings. I always try to have a look around to see if other people are similar to my own player ratings, or if I've completely misjudged it, or, you know, so I look at the Echo's player ratings, I look at Sky's player ratings, I look at a few other bits and pieces. But I give up with Sky. I really give up, because I don't know what they watch. Shall I read out to you Sky's player ratings for Liverpool versus Chelsea? 4-1 victory, played them off the park. Conor Bradley had a game of all games. Let's go through their score, shall we, and see what Sky have given. So, Alisson they've given a 6-2. I'm okay. I can understand that. He didn't have too much to do. He conceded. I gave him a little bit higher, I think, but ultimately, okay. Conor Bradley, man of the match performance. 2 assists and a goal. They gave an 8-2. Now, you could still say, okay, Craig, maybe they don't give out points as readily as you do. A for Conor Bradley, which was the highest score, joint highest score Liverpool got. Okay, let's move on. Kanade and Van Dijk. Now, this is where I do start to take offence to what Sky did. Do you know what score they gave Virgil van Dijk, ladies and gentlemen? They gave Virgil van Dijk 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. 5. Kanade, 6. Gomez, 6. I don't know what game they're watching. How on earth does Bradley only get an 8 for 2 assists and a goal, and Van Dijk gets a 5. Van Dijk got less. Now, this is the comparable, by the way. Van Dijk got 5. Enzo Fernandez got 6. Huh? Van Dijk 5, Enzo 6. One of them was bitch slapped, and the other one was Virgil van Dijk. I don't get it. Who have they got watching the games? This is the stuff I'm talking about. This is deluded. This is mental. 5. And Bradley gets an 8. What more does Bradley have to do? How has Bradley not gotten, at the very least, a 9? A great performance, 2 assists and a goal. And the kid gets an 8. That's weird. That's absolutely weird. I don't understand it. And they need to sort it out. If you want us to continue to take Sky seriously, then give us somebody who's actually paying attention to the goddamn games, because that's a pathetic attempt at player ratings. 5, like. Imagine giving Van Dijk less than Enzo Fernandez for that game. Crazy. So on the documentary, we know a few more things about the documentary that is being filmed to capture the last months of Jurgen's reign at Liverpool Football Club. So cameras will only follow Jurgen Klopp and the players in pre-arranged, pre-agreed areas. So there'll be very little access to the dressing rooms and any of that tactical stuff. So don't expect any tactical information or anything like that to come out. Apparently they're going to go for the kind of lifestyle view of what the lads are doing. So there'll be some stuff with players at home with their families, down the tunnel, some stuff like that before and after games. And absolutely fine about all of that, because let's be honest, as football fans, any glimpse behind the scenes that we can get into players, their daily routines, their lives, what they do when they're at home with their families, how they relax, how they switch off. These are all things that, it's genuinely going to be lovely to be able to get a chance to see. So I'm very much looking forward to it. We'll see them arriving at games, some stuff in the tunnel before and after and things like that, but no in dressing room tactical stuff, which isn't a surprise. I couldn't have imagined Jurgen Klopp signing off on that one anyway. So yeah, that's a little bit more information to what we can expect anyway from the upcoming documentary that's been filmed. Bradley is a 9 for that Mudryk chance, no less than a 9. He's brilliant. And 9 is the very least, as you said, that he should be getting in that game. I don't know how they came up with some of those scores that they did. So, Bruce Grobbelaar has made a suggestion for the next Liverpool manager. Shall I read it out to you and see what Mr. Grobbelaar has to say? Bruce said, "We were chatting amongst ourselves, the former players, putting through some names. Xabi Alonso came up all the time. Then he said, but if you have a look at what manager has actually produced youngsters from the academy into the first team and then get them going on the end, selling them, there's only one man that comes to mind, and that man's Graham Potter. Sorry, Brucey. No. Just no. Liverpool Football Club need a bigger presence, a bigger personality than Graham Potter. Good coach, but we're not Chelsea. We're not going to make our living by bringing through academy products and selling them. We want to bring through academy products, produce on the pitch, but of course add in some talent from elsewhere as well. So I would very much disagree with Mr. Bruce Grobbelaar on his obvious choice. Potter's a good coach, but no way on earth he should be anywhere near the Liverpool job in my opinion, and I would suggest probably a lot of your opinions. A little bit more on Chelsea. So Transfer News Live, or at Transfer Deadline, or at, Deadline Day Live, if you're on Twitter, they said Chelsea are in danger of breaching FFP rules unless they raise at least £100 million by the end of June. Hello, Saudi, my old friend. Their recent transfer activity could see them penalised even further if they have broken PSR, with the club not allowed to make a loss of more than 105 million, or as we like to call it, an Enzo Fernandez, over a 3-year period. So that's via TalkSport as well. So there you can see Chelsea are walking a tightrope with regards to profit sustainability rules. And Juan Laporta, the mouthpiece that keeps on giving, the shit show that Barcelona fans should be absolutely embarrassed by, but he's been speaking about the Super League. And the Super League's best mate, Mr. Fabrizio Romano, briefer of all things Super League and embarrassment to actual football journalism, in my opinion. He said, these clubs have already agreed to the Super League. Not Fabrizio, by the way, Juan Laporta said, these clubs have already agreed to the Super League. Inter Milan, Napoli, Roma, Marseille, Benfica, Porto, Sporting, Ajax, Feyenoord, PSV, Anderlecht, Club Brugge, and all Spanish clubs except Atletico Madrid. So, let's wait and see if these clubs join up to the Super League. But also, let's have a little look-see at the clubs there. Inter Milan and AC Milan. Financial problems. Napoli, falling apart. Roma, shit show. Marseille, who gives a shit. Benfica, Porto, Sporting, no money in the league, no money in the league, no money in the league. Ajax, well, they're busy saving football with Jordan Henderson. Feyenoord, actually don't know too much about Feyenoord or PSV. Anderlecht, Brugge, again in leagues where there's not much financial incentive. And all Spanish clubs except Atletico Madrid. So there you are. That's where they're at. And that's who Juan Laporta said are clubs who've already agreed to join the Super League. Now, I would imagine if those clubs haven't agreed to join the Super League, then there might be a bit of a lawsuit on here. But let's wait and see. They're gonna have to understand. They can call it whatever they want. Without English clubs, it's a super crock of shit. Basically, no English clubs, no German clubs, no Super League. If it's not Alonso, I think Roger Schmidt is okay, said Susie in the Music Fan. I like his aggressive, high-pressing tactics, much preferable to Ruben Amorim, if rumours suggest we're going for a manager in the Portuguese league. I guess a lot of people, Susie, are going to be looked at the moment, and rightly so. You know, the club have to run the rule over any candidates that they deem worthy or a good fit. I hope they end up just coming to Xabi Alonso personally, and I think they will, but you know, I do understand as well that there's a process. I have to say, on Roger Schmidt, don't know as much about him as I probably should, but on Amorim, I've been looking into him a little bit, and I kind of like Amorim's style, to be honest with you. I like how he carries himself. I'm still learning, still trying to figure out. But I can't see, Susie, I can't see past Alonso, mate, honestly. PSG not signed up. No, PSG never signed up, mate, even to the original one. Because, well, they were too busy playing a blinder. Because by not signing up and being the good boys, they managed to cozy themselves up to UEFA a little bit. And the PSG president has found himself, I think, head of the club association or the UEFA Clubs Association, something like that. So a pretty powerful position as a thank you for not going and joining the Super League. And look, I don't hate that. I don't. I think in life, you try and capitalise on opportunities, and that's what I think PSG's president's done. So I actually have no hate for it. I think he did the right thing. They don't need the Super League money. They do want their status, of course, in European football. And I think the PSG president's actually played a bit of a blinder in this whole scenario. But that's where we're at. Who's your player of the month? I voted last night, Josh, and I have to admit, mate, it was easy for me. I voted straight for Conor Bradley because I want the hype train to keep going for young Conor Bradley. So yeah, I did. That was my player of the month vote last night when I went onto the site. Again, let me know who you guys voted for. If you feel comfortable enough, let me know. Sorry, but what is this Super League stuff? Juan Laporta saying these are the clubs that have agreed to join the Super League. Inter Milan, AC Milan, Napoli, Roma, Marseille, Benfica, Porto, Sporting, Ajax, Feyenoord, PSV, Anderlecht, Club Brugge, and all Spanish clubs except Atletico Madrid. There you go. So that's where we're at with that one. What's this that Mark's sending me? Already, by the way, the fallout from Juan Laporta is starting. So AS Roma have denied Juan Laporta's statement that they've agreed to join the Super League. So, as I said, the denials are going to start coming out Ben, you might say, Ben, if you're watching, there's a complete annihilation going on here. But yeah, there you go. So let's wait and see. Juan Laporta, in my opinion, as a Barcelona admirer, I think that adds an embarrassment, in all honesty. And I think this obsession that him and Florentino Perez have with basically just digging their way out of this big financial mess that Barcelona are in, I think he's just leveraging the club, and he's making Barcelona look really poor on the world stage, in my opinion. You know, we've already got enough questions about how they treated some of their players when they were pulling these levers and forcing people into decisions on their careers and deferring money and all this other stuff. I think they're an embarrassment at this point. And as I said, I say this as somebody who's, watched Barcelona my entire life. You know, before they were actually the European giants that they are, or were, I should say. Did you see the Real Madrid announcement? I didn't see it, Luke, but I will admit, I asked Ben what it was. I was on a call with Ben just before we started. We were running through some tech stuff from the project we've been working on in the background. And I said, oh, by the way, what was the Real Madrid announcement? And he said it was Hewlett Packard. I was... I almost admire the shithousery, to be fair, but it wasn't Mbappe anyway. It wasn't Mbappe. That's the news anyway there. Whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, I don't know, folks, but that's the news. Moomin Ninja 1994 said, so basically everyone apart from the Premier League wants a Super League. Is that what you're saying? No German clubs in there either, mate, you'll notice. And without the likes of a Bayern Munich or Borussia Dortmund, Liverpool, United, Chelsea, City, Spurs, Arsenal, whoever, it's not going to be a super anything. Because whether Juan Laporta or Florentino Perez or any of the other also-rans want to admit it, the English clubs are where the money is. Because the English league is the most watched league, the most profitable league, the most talked about league in world football. And yes, Real Madrid are an absolute powerhouse, a colossus, with an amazing squad, a fantastic manager, great tradition and history. But even the way the Super League was set up as founders, that if I'm correct, they were to get more money in. The whole thing's just a big get us out of financial trouble plot for me, especially for the likes of Barcelona. And as I've said before, when you look at the list of clubs that have agreed to sign up, without knowing the ins and outs in every one of them, I would guess that there's a fair amount of them that have financial concerns. So their motives for joining aren't exactly squeaky clean, or that they want football restructured. It's that they're in a financial peril and need to find a quick way out of it. We're sure we'd allow Chelsea in the league with the name Super because, well, I know what you mean, mate, but they got to afford them 100+ million midfielders somehow, you know. PSV versus Marseille doesn't scream Super League. Oh yes, Goomy, it does not. You're right, mate. It does not. Juventus also say no to the Super League, which is interestingly, right, considering Agnelli was one of the main protagonists for the Super League. The last three standing at one point were Agnelli of Juventus, Laporta of Barcelona, and Perez of Real Madrid. So, yeah, if Juventus are in a bit of a mess behind the scenes anyway, but at least they're standing the ground there. And Roma have said apparently that they're not interested, or certainly haven't agreed to join it. There's a lot of big bold statements, but a lot of bullshit as well. Because you know what they haven't done? With all the glitz glamour about the Super League and all the talk about the app and all the talk about it being free, I have yet to see them explain how exactly it's all going to be free and how it's all going to make money and how the clubs will make money without television sponsorship revenue or without fans having to buy a package. It all screams of grubbiness and lies to me, personally. Apparently Jesse Lingard had offers from 26 football clubs and chose to go over to FC Seoul, I believe it was. So there you go, bit of interesting news on that. Real Madrid smashing PSV or the Milans every week isn't fun. Yeah, it's also not very super, is it? You're right. But what we have to find out, and I guess what I think the most important part of all this is what's going to be the repercussions. if the Super League actually does launch in any form, like really launches, as in we start seeing a football kicked about. What's going to happen to the players at the clubs like Real Madrid? Are they going to have sanctions that will include them maybe not being able to play and represent their countries? There's a lot of I feel there's a lot of legal battles before we ever see a football kick potentially here in any variation or version of a Super League. Nunez was back in training today, said Eugene, which is good news, Eugene, and hopefully that swelling does go down, mate. I'm going to be recording my preview after this stream, and it'll be out at about 6 o'clock for the Arsenal game. So yeah, I'm probably going to be on the safe side and not put Darwin in to start, but if he's fit, then he gets in my opinion. But yeah, big game. I'm a bit nervous about Sunday already, if I'm being honest. Nunez news. Basically, the news, mate, is that he has an injury doubt. James Pearce posted to say there's nothing broken. The x-ray came up clear, but it's swollen, and that he's a fitness doubt for Liverpool's trip to Arsenal on Sunday. Now, could be some mind games involved in this a little bit as well. I don't know what this is Connor sent me. It's some shirt. I'm going to bring it up on screen. I don't know what it is, but here we go. I'm going to bring this up here so you can see it. There you go. Whatever that is, and I don't know what it is, but whatever that is can fuck right off. That is an absolute abomination. I don't know if that's legit from the club or whatever it is, but it's disgusting, it's cringy, it's crap, it's horrendous, it's not football-y. I don't like it one bit. I don't know what the hell it is, but whatever it is, I don't like it. It looks like... Do you know what it is? I got it now. It looks like a Superman costume. No, a Spider-Man costume that you'd get off a market stall on holidays somewhere. Some, fake Spider-Man black t-shirt or something. It just looks weird. I don't like it. Maybe you guys do. Maybe I'm old. I don't know. But for me, it's a massive no on that one. Madrid joins the Super League. Jude leaves to join Liverpool, said Harry Klein. Now. Oh, Jude could be in a bit of trouble. Did you see about Jude Bellingham? Standing over it. Now, Jude, if you're watching, and I know you watch, Jude, because you really want to be at Liverpool. But Jude, listen to me. Little bit of advice to you, bud. They're sending in lip readers. They're trying to get you for standing over Mason Greenwood. I've got you sorted, bud. This is all you have to say. I simply said to him, "You're the greatest." Job done, Jude. Bing bang bosh. Job done. You're welcome. That's all you said. You merely stood over Mason Greenwood and said, "Mason, you're the greatest." You're welcome, Jude. Solved that one for you, mate. You owe me one. Send me a signed shirt. We'll call it quits. But that's all you have to do. That's what you were saying to him. You're welcome. I thought I was a Rolling Stone shirt for a minute, said Malcolm. Looks sick, get your eyes checked. It looks disgusting. There's not... Sick is right, but not in the context you mean it to look. I don't want my Darwin Nunez and my Virgil van Dijk running around in what is only, I guess, a nightmare. It's horrendous, dude. And the fact that they've stuck the liverbird on it in such big detail, to me, just adds to the cringiness of it. It just looks woeful. Nunez looked fine in that video released by Liverpool social media account. Still 49 hours left for the game. Hopefully his foot will be fine by then. Yeah, hopefully. Or hopefully he can get a painkilling injection or something, because if he's got to miss a game, he can miss Burnley the week after. So if he has to play through a bit of pain, then rest up, at least then he'd have a good break if he was taken off the Burnley game. Because without any disrespect meant to Burnley, I'd certainly feel more comfortable playing Burnley at home without Darwin than playing Arsenal away without Darwin. The big liverbird is bad taste galore. The small one I like. Yeah, the small one's fine. The big one is just cringy. It just looks like, I don't know, it ruins what is a potentially decent shirt, but that big... I'm not against the colours in it. I just think it's very cringy with the big liver bird. Craig, I wonder how you came up with the name Newlawn. Oh, it's very easy, Lee. So, do you remember back when the year we won the league in the COVID season, when you had Arsenal fans, Karen Brady, and a couple of others wanting the league cancelled? They also wanted the league null and voided. So, Newlawn Voider is our mascot to say F you to those who wanted the league null and voided. So Newlawn Voider. That's where it came from. Salah back for Burnley, hopefully. That would be great, Lee. Yeah, that would be brilliant if Mo was back. But it's going to be interesting now to see what Jurgen does because, with Trent, with Robbo, with Mo, the lads that have played while they've been unavailable for injury reasons or for, international competition reasons, it's going to be interesting to see if Mo walks straight back into the team. You'd imagine he would. I mean, I've got no issues if he does. But it will be interesting because we certainly didn't see Trent and Robbo immediately walk back into the team, although Robbo was out for quite a long time, so can understand building up minutes there with him. But Bradley kept his place for the game against Chelsea, as did Joe, and again, great performances from both of them. Would you play Bobby Clark instead of Trent? No. Why would I do that? Like Bobby Clark's decent, don't get me wrong, but with Trent, we've got the ability to just spray balls around and pick out passes, and nah, man, I think Trent has to play. If I'm guessing, I think... Well, I don't want to give it away because I'm going to do my preview after this and have it ready for about 6 o'clock. Jota was my player of the match. His form since Salah leaving has been crazy. Bradley had been brilliant, though. Look, I can understand anybody bigging up Jota, mate. Absolutely sound. As you said, he's been brilliant. For me, it's just, for what it was for Bradley. Big game, 2 assists and a goal, and a very good defensive performance. For me, it had to be him. I think he deserved the recognition. But what you've said about Jota is also spot on. He's been brilliant. And I like that Curtis Jones calls him the Ghost. That's the nickname he's given to him because he can just be in and out of games, but then drift in somewhere at a decisive moment, pop up with a goal. And Mr. Curtis Jones is nicknamed him the Ghost, which I do love. Actually, the full report from Paul Joyce said, Diogo Jota has been nicknamed the Ghost by his teammate Curtis Jones for his ability to drift unnoticed in matches, only then out of nothing to deliver a decisive moment. And while we're speaking about Curtis Jones, actually, this one's a bit weird, but Curtis Jones' performances are catching the interest of a number of clubs, especially down south. Yeah, is it now? Okay. Chelsea, you interested? 250 million for Curtis Jones. And after the money you paid for Fernandes and Caicedo, that should be a bargain. So, you're welcome. 250 mil. And we will consider Curtis Jones. But we want 250 million. You're welcome. There's no way Curtis Jones leaves Liverpool to go down south. Not after working as hard as he has to come under consideration and get himself involved and be a regular now at this point. It would be very weird if he was tempted down south. I can't exactly see him having as much fun down there. But hey ho, maybe I'm wrong. Have I seen the Thiago video? No, I haven't, mate. I think that's the 3rd or 4th time you've asked that question, but no, I haven't seen it. What's it about? Is it just like an update in Thiago training, or do you think we will fall off next season? I don't know how to answer the question, Paraline, because there's a lot we need to figure out first. Like, remember when Verge was asked pretty much immediately, what his situation is after Jurgen announced he was leaving. I think we all agreed it was impossible for him to give an answer because, he doesn't really know what the future holds. And I think it's the same for us. I can't sit here and tell you there won't be a fall off if I don't know who the manager's going to be. Now, if we appointed Alonso, will there be a fall off? I expect there to be some fall off from anybody because you're going to have players that have to get used to a new system, and that could take a bit of time. You know, it could take a bit of time to bed in. I don't know how much of a change will be made, but I don't expect it a fall off from the point of view of we'll be outside top fours or anything like that. No, I expect us to continue to be at the top end of the table, albeit maybe not top in the first year with a new manager, but back into the Champions League this season if everything stays on course as it is. If Darwin doesn't play versus Arsenal, then what about Trent in midfield, Szoboszlai on the wing, and Bradley on the right position? That could be interesting. I don't think Szoboszlai has the pace to play the wing role properly. I would imagine if Darwin isn't fit, you'll see Gakpo and Jota, and Diaz in some formation in the front three, whether it's Diaz right, Gakpo left, Jota centre, or Jota right, Diaz left, Gakpo centre. I think that'll probably be the likelihood. Hi Craig, I love you and I hope you do best. Don't let anyone get you down. Thank you, mate. I try not to. It's a lot easier these days though, because people are pretty sound in the chat, which makes my life a lot easier. Europa League final going to be Liverpool Leverkusen. Well, it depends. We could end up playing them before then. Depends how the draw works out, doesn't it? I think I'd rather play them over 2 legs, if I'm being honest with you, than over 1. I do think I know people have said AC Milan as well, but I think you're right. I think Leverkusen, the way they're playing now, are probably the most likely. We'll have to see how the knockout round goes as well. There's a round before we come back in now. The games that are coming up, I think, in about a week or so. You'll see the knockout group with the teams dropped out of the Champions League playing the teams that finish runner-up in their group in the Europa League. So we'll know who's left standing after that. But ourselves and Leverkusen are already into that next round because we topped the groups. What else we got? Craig, will the style of play change under Alonso, i.e. pressing? Yes, it will. If Alonso comes in with the same formation he plays at Leverkusen, there will be changes. Yes, he'll be looking at wing backs, going to a back 3 when in possession, and a few other things that honestly I'm still getting up to speed with myself. We should be ready to launch our new tech next weekend for the Burnley game, by the way, which we are really excited about. It's the biggest investment we've ever made into the channel. We're working with some really impressive people behind the scenes, and we've been building a whole new system that will allow us to make the shows more interactive, make your comments more visible, and other stuff I can't talk about yet because this is build 1 and I'm sure we'll have a build 2 and we'll update. But the future, I think you're going to see some real innovations on the channel that you probably don't see anywhere else on YouTube, and I mean anywhere. So the first build, probably you'll see similar things elsewhere, but it'll highlight what we do. Second and third builds that we're investing in, I think you guys are going to love them, what we're going to be able to do. Craig, I'd recommend watching a video by James Alcott. I have seen that video, Harry, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But I did watch a video by another content creator. I think his name was AJ, if my memory's right. Where he did a really good video as well, breaking down the style of Alonso. And I found it really helpful. I thought it was a very concise, well-made, broken down video. Very simplistic, very easy to watch. But I know James Alcott has one as well, and I will get a chance to watch that. Craig, quite a weird question, but do you think Arsenal is an overrated team? Yes, 100%. Look, I don't think it's necessarily just Arsenal, but I feel like whenever there's a chance for one of the London clubs to challenge for the major honours, there's a big push and a big love in and a big circle jerk of all the London-centric media and football protagonists. So yeah, I do. I feel them, Spurs. Let's just look to the start of the season again. You know, will Spurs last the pace? No, of course they won't. They're Spurs. Oh, Arsenal are the favourites for the league. Are you though? No, they weren't. They never really were. And they've gotten a lot of, in my opinion, lucky decisions. Like, they were blessed not to be beaten by us at Anfield. We should have had a penalty. We were robbed in London against Spurs. The only defeat we've had this season, shouldn't be on our record. So, yeah, I do agree with you. But look, I also think Arsenal are a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think they're not there yet, though. I think there's still a couple of additions to their squad short. I think they lack a little bit of squad depth as well. And I think they still have a little bit of naivety in that team. But they will get there over the coming years. But I don't think they're there yet. What else are we doing? Craig, did you go over the documentary? Just a few bits that we found out today. Yes, that it will be a kind of lifestyle slant to the documentary. There'll be no access to certain parts of the club, like the dressing room and stuff like that. There'll be some footage of what happens in the tunnel. There'll be some footage of players leaving and coming to games. Some footage of them at home with their families and during warm-ups and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's, I guess, the interesting take. And look, I'm really looking forward to it. Like, being honest, I think it's something us fans will very much enjoy getting a chance to see. Would you play Thiago and move Maka up? No, I got to be honest with you. I don't give a damn about Thiago at this point. I can't lie. I'm gonna just be blunt. What the fuck do we need to start? I don't see why we'd start messing shit up now, throwing Thiago in just because he's fit all of a sudden. I don't think he's earned the right to get back into the team yet. Not by a long shot. Watoro and Maka are the sixes for me. And Thiago, I'm sure, can have an impact at points coming off the bench or whatever, but not a hope. I'm looking to start knocking the confidence of the boys who have got us to the position we're in. I look at this Thiago situation very differently to a lot of people because I think 10 months is a complete piss take. Whether it's, it's not his fault. He doesn't want to be injured. But it's a complete piss take. And he's in the last year of his contract now. So if Klopp wants to utilise him for a little bit, so be it. And by the way, people saying I missed Super Chats. I haven't. I'm just in the middle of talking about something. And I don't read Super Chats the second they come on screen, because that wouldn't make any good for Connor or the guys in the background to pull clips and stuff. So people are going to have to give me a bit more leeway with Super Chats. Look, don't get me wrong. Completely appreciate them, and my God, they make a difference to us. But especially with the new tech we're having developed, you're going to have to be a bit more patient, because it might be a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes sometimes before the Super Chat will come up. But to get to your Super Chat, John, and again, thank you, said the team is better balanced with a right side forward and Bradley providing the width. I don't know where you want me to go with that, Johnny. Are we talking about Mohamed Salah here, or look, I don't like the fascination of modern football, John, myself, with inverted wingers. I find it a little bit hipstery, and I find that occasionally we become too narrow. Unless, as you've said, my man, we get that overlap from the likes of Conor Bradley or an Andy Robertson. So I've missed that when we've had Joe Gomez playing, because my memory doesn't have as much of a recollection of Joe overlapping runs. I remember the likes of Darwin or even Curtis Jones being that overlapping runner occasionally when Joe Gomez is cut inside onto his right foot. And we know with Jurgen Klopp as well, we like to attack half spaces. And I've mentioned this a couple of times about Mohamed Salah, but he's got this really good knack now of drifting inside and playing the ball into a half space. And you'll see Darwin or Jota run across the front of the 6-yard box diagonally. You've seen it multiple times, and it's not even just Mo that plays the ball. I think there was even one or two occasions against Chelsea that we did the same move. But Mo has it to a fine art. It's one of my favourite things that Mo's developed over the last year or two in his game. It's just that slide rule ball in behind that's given us quite a few opportunities. Might be a stupid question, but do you put Salah straight back in the team as we haven't looked like we've missed him that much? I don't think it is a stupid question, Tom. Because it's the same with Bradley and Gomez, and they've played brilliantly and have held their positions. So look, we probably will see him back into the team, mate. But we did say one thing, a lot of us, before the AFCON and before the Asia Cup as well, but particularly the AFCON. We did say that this gives us a chance to see what life may be like without Mo, even for a brief period of time. And I think what we can safely say is we didn't fall off a cliff. You know, whether you think we were as good as with Mo or not, that's open to debate. But results were pretty decent. We didn't fall off a cliff. People stepped up. We still scored goals. So I think it's given me a bit more relaxation about the Mo situation. You know, if he stays, great. If he doesn't, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, although still a big loss. Craig, thoughts on Bradley starting Trent in midfield? I don't know what Trent midfield looks like, and I'm sorry I keep going back to the same thing, because I don't... If we play the midfield system the way we play it, with Trent as a lone number 6, I think we get slaughtered, because I don't think Trent's able to do it. I don't think Trent's as press resistance as the likes of McAllister or particularly with Endo. So I think I've always envisioned Trent in the midfield as part of a double pivot. But does that mean Jurgen Klopp has to make too much of a change midway through the season? Is it too much of a risk? Or is it something they've already worked on? I don't know. But in the system that we play now with a holding midfielder and 2 attacking midfielders, I don't see Trent being that number 6. So I think it'll have to have... Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'd be the greatest number 6, but I don't think so. I don't feel he has the attributes for that role in the way we play it now, particularly pressing so high up the pitch like we've seen McAllister and Watoro do in recent times. That's just my... As somebody said, the 3-box-3 is probably the way we'd have to go in that situation. But then you've not got Bradley in that team, right? So 3-box-3 works when Trent's at right back and he moves in to be the second number 6. That's where we play our 3-box-3 at the moment. But will Bradley do that same role? And Bradley alongside Trent still gives me the same concerns. Don't think the press resistance is there. That's the biggest factors of, certainly with Toro Endo for me, and McAllister's getting much better at it as well. So again, I'm not against Trent in midfield at all. I just don't know what it looks like yet. Harry said, Craig, you seen in today's presser, De Zerbi said he's unhappy with Brighton squad and transfers. Personally don't want him. Alonso's the one. De Zerbi, look, he's rightly going to be considered, but I don't think he's the right fit for Liverpool. And you have to say the concerning run of results at Brighton is just that, concerning. They've not exactly had a great run of results in the last 16, 17 games. Any suggestions for fantasy leagues? You don't want suggestions from me, mate. I'm bang average at FPL. And I try. God, I try. But every year, mate, I am Johnny middle table. Or even lower middle table, probably. Mo's had a hamstring injury. He won't start. They'll bring him in slowly. Don't necessarily think that's going to be the case. It's not like he had a hamstring injury that kept him out for a really long time. We're talking 3 to 4 weeks. Of somebody who was already in mid-season mode, so had already got a lot of muscle memory with regards to playing. And it's Mo. You know, he's not the same as everybody else. We know Mohamed's a machine and a fitness god. So I don't know how they bring him back in, but I wouldn't expect it to be too long before he immediately... Maybe one appearance off the bench, and then I'd say he starts. Do you think Joe will start against Arsenal? Yes, I do. That was one of the tough decisions I was looking at when I was giving Connor my team to make up the images for the preview. But yeah, my guess, and of course it is just that, is I would expect Joe to start at left back. Show some love for South Africa? How am I supposed to do that, mate? I can show you some love by giving you some numbers. South Africa is the 3rd or 4th most watched country for Anfield Agenda. It goes England, I think it's England, America, Ireland, South Africa, or it's England, America, South Africa, Ireland, one or the other. Don't really think we're missing Mo. Got cover for Darwin injury. Jota Gakpo Diaz will shine. Yeah, look, I agree with you to some extent on Mo, but you'll always miss him to some extent, won't you? Like, because he's a really, really good footballer. But I am concerned about the Darwin injury for Arsenal. I feel like he would have been definitely somebody who we could do with for that game. Are you getting the chest out if we win the league? I think, Harry, I'll be honest with you, dude. I've promised a few things over this season, and you're going to have to remind me what they are. I remember saying I'd eat one piece of broccoli if we win the league. I probably said I'd get the moves out. And whatever I've agreed to, I'll be a man of my word. Honestly, with all these players coming back, we could win the league for real this season, said Blue Bear. Absolutely. And I'm getting a little bit fed up of the amount of people in the media who seemingly think City are just going to stroll to the title because Haaland and De Bruyne is back. I think Haaland's going to become a distraction for Manchester City between now and the end of the season. And what I mean by that, it can't just be me that's noticed the amount of links for him to Real Madrid popping up over the past few weeks. They feel like they're intensifying, and they feel like they're becoming more serious is probably the word I'm trying to use, but they're happening a lot. Like, I'm wondering if it's going to be him or Mbappe, honestly, at this moment in time. Because I'll say what I've always said. If I was a Real Madrid fan, I would be wanting Haaland over Mbappe because I feel like they need a central striker way more than they need another winger or another pacey attacker. So for me, if I was Florentino Perez, it would be Haaland for me. Craig, the training pics have just come out and Nunez seems to be in full training. We love that, Pranav. We love that. And hopefully there's no adverse effects and he's able to keep training up until Sunday. Sorry, I'm just looking at something. What's this that's been sent to me? So Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones were both presented with the PFA Special Recognition Awards for their contributions to England's Under-21 European Championship wins. It's a nice little trophy. Nice little recognition for both gentlemen. Well done to Harvey and Curtis. And well done to the FA for recognising them as well. So fair play. Good to see. And thank you, Mark, for sending that on as well. Let me see if I can... No, I can't drag that image in, can I? No, I can't. What is a griddy? I don't know, mate. You know, you and me, I've no idea what a griddy is. It's a dance, actually, I think, is it? I think I know that much. Is it from Fortnite? I don't know. I feel like it's something I should know, but I don't. My opinion, I think Osimhen is perfect for Real Madrid. I don't think he's prolific enough for Real Madrid. I don't. I really, really don't. I think Madrid need a poacher, and Haaland is one of the few modern day poachers, in my opinion. And I think, imagine Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and him as your front line with Bellingham in behind. Just ridiculous. Harry Klein said, I believe we can win if we beat City. Weirdly, Harry, I'm more concerned with Sunday. I don't think, maybe I'm deluded here, but I don't expect, the worst I expect from the City game is a draw at Anfield. I can't see us losing it. So a draw would do us no harm if we were still winning. Because I don't think Arsenal are going to be able to keep up with us, and if we beat them on Sunday, that's the one for me. If we beat Arsenal on Sunday, that's two tricky games in a week that we've got through. Next one up, Burnley. I would imagine that should be okay. So you then start to look ahead to the City game. And if we beat Arsenal, I feel a draw with City. And I would say we're favourites if that's the case. But a lot of football to be played first. It's a Jeremy Doku celebration. I don't know what a Jeremy Doku celebration is because I don't watch Manchester City. I go out of my way not to watch Manchester City because I feel dirty watching the soulless, mercenary-led group of 115 charge cheats. Can't bring myself to do it. Conor Bradley has really come in and made the role his own. He's been brilliant, Hamlin, and it's been great to see the recognition that he's getting from fans and, of course, his teammates. I am Tyler Gray, said 3-1 to Liverpool on Sunday. Tyler, I'd bite your hand off for that right now, mate. Rachel said she's nervous about Sunday. Naturally, Rachel, Coots on VAR, that makes me nervous alone. Maybe the whole refereeing outfit, now that Jurgen's announced he's leaving, are going to pull up Paul Tierney and start refereeing games properly again, or officiating VAR properly, because that was night and day from Paul Tierney. We've not seen Paul Tierney referee a Liverpool game that well, in my opinion, for quite a while, and he did referee it really well. I gave him as much credit as I could, but yeah. Coup on VAR, the same person that didn't give the penalty when Odegaard handballed at Anfield, and looked at it and thought that he was moving his arm back to his body, so that magically moves away the handball law, and didn't send the ref to the monitor, and was called out for it by Howard Webb on mic'd up, but yet still gets put in the same role for the same game when there's huge stakes involved. It's very confusing. Why would you do that as an organisation? If you have an official that hasn't lived up to a role in a big game, a top of the table clash, why put him in the same role after admitting he made a mistake in the last one? It's almost like you're going out of your way to create controversy. It's silly. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. And I'm just going to keep talking about it because I think it's ridiculous. Any predictions on how Arsenal might line up? No, don't care. I know that sounds so arrogant, but I've always said it. I don't give a shit how the opposition line up. I want them to worry about us. And look, I know Klopp, Linders, the coaches, they'll have all this information. They'll have everything figured out. They'll know exactly what to do. But ultimately, we probably agree they're going to try and target the right back spot. They always try to target a right back spot, whether it's Trent or Conor Bradley there. They try to get Martinelli in one-on-ones. And that's where a lot of teams think they get most of their joy against us. So I expect them to attack that area like they always do. They've had a problem sticking the ball in the net. They try and walk it in too many times. Look, if we get beaten by Arsenal and there isn't any shenanigans from the ref, no problem. Come on, say well done to Arsenal. But that's the first concern for me, is not how Arsenal line up or play. It's the official. Is Conor Bradley better than Trent defensively? I don't think we can answer that. We've nowhere near a big enough sample size. I think he's been very solid defensively since he's come in, but I don't think we can say he's more solid than Trent because we need a bigger sample size of games. Can Thiago play on Sunday? Technically, yes. Maybe he gets on the bench, I don't know. Don't expect him to start, absolutely. Look, whatever happens, Thiago's going to need probably another 2-3 weeks of appearances from the bench to start building up minutes in his legs. If Thiago's a good second half of the season, would you extend his contract? Not a hope in hell. Not a hope in hell. Thiago can score a hat-trick every week from now till the end of the season and they still wouldn't extend his contract. Because we all know he's going to be injured. He is. There's just no two ways about it. I will be astounded if he finishes the rest of this season without another injury. Absolutely astounded. And why? He's in the last year of his deal. And he's had 10 months out. Nothing about that screams common sense to extend this deal. It's like you're almost asking for more trouble. And when you've got somebody there that's on £200,000 a week, I think that's money we need to reinvest elsewhere. No, would not extend Thiago, said Darkness. Appreciate what he's done, but he's too expensive to be kept on the payroll. I agree. Thiago fit, great footballer. We all know that. But he's not getting younger. And 10 months for a hip flexor or a hip injury feels a long time, right? Dude didn't break his hip. But 10 months for what was something that was supposed to be dealt with in April and him be back for pre-season. 10 months. We need pace in that game, so if there are any players that are not match fit, they should not start, said Michelle. I have a hip flexor and it got fixed in 4 months. There you go. It was supposed to be done relatively straightforward. You know, that was the whole point of him getting it done in April. Is like they sacrificed the end of the league campaign to have him back for pre-season. And I think we'll all agree that didn't go to plan. What would Kimmich go for? They reckon 25 million in the summer. I don't know if that's euros or pounds, by the way, but 25 million was the number that was being spoken about for Joshua Kimmich. Right, what else we got? Tago's missing more than Lord Lucan. I don't even know who Lord Lucan is, but I still laughed at him, Malcolm. I think I'm biased because I haven't seen a midfielder play the way Thiago had for Liverpool in that quadruple season. Oh, Rahul, mate, you've seen over the years, I've loved Thiago. And as you've said, he does things with a ball that makes your jaw drop at times, and the manipulation of his body to protect the ball, to be in the right position to receive it and move it on quickly. And he toyed with teams. Look, he's brilliant on his day. Absolutely goddamn brilliant. And you're right to love him, but this is where we have to be ruthless, right? Klopp's moving on, and we've got 2 players out of contract. One whom is currently out with an ACL and one who's been out for 10 months. I don't see either of them being extended as being sensible business by the football club. But look, I'm sure if Thiago's looking sharp, Klopp will utilise him in some way between now and the end of the season. Don't you think Thiago is a veteran that can help the team with so many youngsters? 200 grand a week though. Like, and remember, we're Liverpool. We don't have 200 grand a week to give everyone because that's the top end of our normal wages. And I know you said maybe on reduced wages, but I mean like 75% reduced wages to keep him about. And even at that, he's not getting into the team and he's going to be injured. I just think it's just the perfect time to say thank you and, you know, goodbye. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, and I said this about Mo as well. There's not a world where I'd give Mo a wage increase in a new renewal. Not a hope. I don't see how that makes any sense. Like, football seems to be the only sport where, well, maybe not the only, but one of the few sports where people seem to just get bigger contracts the more, the older they get, regardless of the fact that their best days are clearly behind them. So, if Mo gets renewed, brilliant. But I definitely would not be giving him a pay increase. I think that would just be stupidity. Because no matter how much we love him, his best days are behind him. And people need to start being okay about saying that. Because it doesn't mean he still can't do a job or it still isn't important. But his best days are absolutely behind him. Do you think with Alonso probably coming in, Mbappe deal is off? I don't know what to expect with Mbappe, mate. Honestly, I'm no idea. I thought today might have been that announcement. You know, when the Real Madrid were teasing it. I honestly have no clue. This channel is too toxic. Says somebody who doesn't know any of us and nobody has ever interacted with. Joe, I'll make it easy for you, dude. No problem. You don't have to be bothered by the toxicity anymore, mate. I've released you into the world now because heaven knows we kidnapped you and made you come in for the toxicity. And how is it too toxic? By saying I don't want to give Mo a pay increase, you weird little fuck. Grow up, mate. You're in my chat on my channel with my community who, you know, continues to grow. So if I was very toxic, why would people come in day after day? We aren't, I amn't, and nobody knows who the fuck you are. So off you pop and toodaloo. Right, my friends, I'm going to go and record the preview, which will hopefully be out at 6:30-ish. We'll be back tonight at 8:30 as always. Thank you so much for giving up some of your afternoon to come and chat with me. We'll keep looking for news and more information between now and then. We'll have more conversations, of course, around the game coming up against Arsenal. reflections on the transfer window and how quiet it was right across the board. Premier League clubs spending a fraction of what they have in recent years. But look, appreciate you. See you 8:30. Much love.